Hey guys, Travis Daggett with Cornerstone Properties, talking today about how to come up with a price to sell your home. The most common method that people use is, of course, listing it with a real estate agent, and the real estate agent is the one to give you a value or a price to sell your home at. Now, if you're wanting to get an idea on your own, or if you're wanting to check your real estate agent's ideas, it's important that you understand how to come up with at least a ballpark of a value. So the most common way that people do that is to use comparable properties. So if you have a property and you're wanting to get comps, we just call them for short, real estate agents use the MLS, the multiple listing service, but really there's so many powerful tools that you can use now that get you all the way there, or at least close, that you don't have to have MLS access to really get accurate comps. Probably Redfin is the best. They're Zillow as well, but Redfin is really good. And there are three types of properties that you usually compare to. One is properties that are, in the best category, is properties that are already sold. And of course that's the best because the transaction's already occurred. You can see what they actually sold for and you know that they sold. And another really important factor in that is how long it took them to sell. So what they sold for, how long it took them to sell. The other category of properties are properties that are pending. So an offer has been accepted, they've been withdrawn from the market, and it's working its way through the process. Now again, when you look at a property that is sold, you might want to look and see how many times it went pending and then went back on the market. That can really tell you something as well. And then the other category, and probably the least valuable but the most current, is properties that are listed for sale. So that only tells you what they're asking. It doesn't tell you what they're going to get, and it certainly doesn't tell you how long it's going to take to sell the property at that price. And now if the pending properties, or especially the sold properties, if that is a year ago, that may not be very valuable. If it's within the last month, that's quite valuable. The most common mistake that people make is they look around at properties in their neighborhood, or they look at comparable properties that are listed for sale, and they use that to determine the value of their property. Now, if you follow any one of those comps all the way through, you may find that, let's say they had it listed for $400,000 and they ended up selling it for $350,000 or even $300,000. Well, that $400,000 price was pretty much meaningless, wasn't it? The other thing is, if somebody's asking $400,000, but it takes them a year to sell it, is that what most people want? Of course not. They're looking to sell their property within a few months at the most. So that price isn't very relevant. So the biggest factor distinguishing any property, of course, is the condition. So you want to compare apples to apples as much as you can, as far as number of beds, number of baths, square footage. And you can go all the way down into age and acreage and part of town, all those types of things. It needs to be in a similar part of town. The less comparable properties you have, the harder it's going to be to get an accurate idea of value. And it also could indicate that it may take you longer, be harder to sell your property if not many properties have been selling in your area. But condition is the biggest factor. And again, another big mistake people make is they say, well, my neighbor's price sold for this much, so mine should sell for the same or more. But those values are based on the properties that have sold and just based on square footage. So it's not going to tell you anything about condition. The condition is the biggest factor. And that's really only accurate after someone has walked through the inside and looked at it. So if you're comparing a move-in ready, fully renovated, retail ready property with something that's not financeable, that everything needs updated, that even has major structural issues, not accurate. So I hope that helps and gives you some idea on comparable properties and coming up with a price to sell your home. If you have any questions or you have a property that you're considering selling, give us a call. Thanks. Travis Daggett with Cornerstone Properties signing out.